Fuck you mean you don't know DJ Mark B? You better preach it. Say that. Say that. Oh, you better go now.
Welcome to Preach Care Preach with Rashad. We are the Prophet Sitting episode, another sermon coming at you from 12 Ounce Sports, Zingo TV, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can meet us, can hear us. Rashad, man, what's going on? Let's see. Technical difficulties. May have to restart this real quick. Sorry, guys. Well.
Fuck you mean you don't know DJ Mark B? You better preach it. Say that. Say that. Oh, you better go now.
It's out on Twitter.
It is?
Welcome to Preach Care Preach with Rashad. We are the Prophet Sitting episode, another sermon coming at you from 12 Ounce Sports, Zingo TV, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Anywhere else you can hear us. Rashad, man, what's going on?
What it do, baby? Kawhi, LeBron, they back tonight, man. You got to get the Kawhi quote, man. What it do?
Yeah, exactly, man. It's gonna be a fun one tonight. Before y'all get into y'all NBA mode, now with the bubble, actually the games are actually for real now. We're gonna talk about some things, football related a little bit before we get into all the basketball talk. But first, we do have a guest. He's also a co-host of Dose of OJ. He's also from the Unwrapped Sports Network. Owen Watterson, man, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? It's going to be a great episode. Talk some football, talk some basketball. First night basketball's back. What more could you ask for, man? I'm ready to get into it.
Big night, exciting times, man.
For real. We got a little news. LeSean McCoy signed to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are y'all first initial reactions?
Crickets.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, man. Nothing at all.
Name-wise, cool. Production-wise, crickets.
And now you got a quarterback and a running back that, 6 years ago maybe everybody's calling them Super Bowl favorites, and now it's just name value. That's all it is. Ronald Jones still their best back.
See, man, this why you want to show Rojo or Bust. That's my guy. I'd rather him in Dynasty, redraft. That's my guy. I don't care about Keyshawn Vaughn. I don't care about Shady.
None of them. Ronald Jones a bust for them, man. Let him play.
Hey, Shady can go stand in the shade. It's Rojo or Bust.
I like Rojo. I'm about to say this probably is it for Rojo. Like he has to go crazy. And the thing about it is, like, you draft one and you sign somebody. That's I don't know how to look at that for my boy Rojo.
Man, Rojo better step it up. He finna be, 23, 24 this year? This the prime time to have that breakout year as an RB. Everybody out here getting paid. He better step up and get paid too.
Man, you're
everybody out here getting paid, man. They're tossing money around like it's nothing nowadays. That every position, every player. Oh, look, you're good. Here you go. Here's the bag. Come get it.
Man, what?
Throw it in the bag.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Jamal Adams finally get traded. He wanted the bag from the Jets.
He's gonna get it too.
He's gonna get it. Now, before we really dive into it, all right. So we know what the trade was: 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, a starting safety, all for Jamal Adams. Now, when I got this and I seen it, I was like, 2 first rounds? Like, they got quarterback ransom for a safety. He may be all pro, but that is a lot to get for a safety.
I don't think they got enough.
You're right. I mean, maybe.
I don't think they got enough at all, man. Look, Jamal Adams, like you said, the Jets' only all-pro player last year, the best safety in the league. I don't even think it's close, to be honest with you. I mean, you could toss Derwin James in there, but he's playing more free safety than strong side. So I think it was a good move for Seattle. I really think the Jets could have gotten more in this situation. Jamal Adams has a whole nother year on his rookie deal, and now the Seahawks have the best safety in the league, the best secondary in the league right now, maybe behind Baltimore. If you ask me, I think Baltimore probably takes that number one spot still, but Seattle's dangerous. You had a whole nother year on Jamal Adams' rookie deal, and you let him go. I mean, I would say Jamal Adams could have handled the situation maybe a little bit better than he did, but the Jets really didn't help all that much. You toss C.J. Mosley, $51 million guaranteed, and Le'Veon Bell, $50 million, but you can't pay Jamal Adams, and you get these 2 draft picks back that, yeah, they're good value, but how high are the Seahawks picks going to be for the next 2 years, especially now that they got Adams? Really, I just don't know that it's worth what they're giving up. He's a Hall of Fame talent, and you can't just let that walk off.
Yeah, the Jets messed up big time by being so bad in general, because now you're letting go of an all-pro player, and he's going to go right to a guaranteed 10-win situation. Seattle's not going to, be an 8-8 team. They're going to win 10 games. So he's going to a winner in a stacked division, and he easily becomes one of the top 5 players in that division. So for a Seattle standpoint, I like the move. I feel like the precedent was already set as far as when you kind of trade a transcendent kind of player that can transform your team, you kind of have to give up those first-round picks. Like, when old linemen get traded, stuff like that, they kind of give up some first. So I wasn't really tripping off the picks. And then, of course, when you trade a player, I mean, you kind of have to give them a safety back to get your safety. There's no point in keeping him. So I wasn't really tripping off of the assets exchanged. I thought Seattle did pretty good. They're going to be they need to open the offense up a little bit more. But from the defensive side of the ball, he fixed their scheme. I mean, you got Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams on the same defense. Seattle, look out for Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a win-win for both sides. Like, and the reason I said it because, like, all right, so Seattle's trying to win a Super Bowl. They're trying to compete with the 49ers in their division, along with Arizona, along with the Rams. And they've been missing their Cam Chancellor for a long time in that Seattle defense. So you get an all-pro safety over there. You're talking about, okay, now can we be one of the best defenses in the league with a defensive-minded coach? But on the Jet side, what was Jamal Adams doing for you as far as making you toward the goal, which is make playoffs? I mean, right now the Super Bowl is too far away, so your goal is to make the playoffs. I don't know if a safety was warranted keeping, whether it's Jamal Adams or not, because Jamal Adams, he wasn't going to make you win another game. Like, I mean,
hey, we saw Miami flip Minka too to the Steelers. Like, he wasn't doing anything for them.
Right. I mean, because all Jamal is going to do is lose. So for the Jets side, it's like, we're going to lose with Jamal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we might as well lose without him, and that way we get assets for it, because Joey Douglas, like, he inherited, like, a terrible, terrible team, like you mentioned. And I'm not the biggest Gase fan. I actually despise Gase. I think Adam Gase, for an offensive mind, has ruined a lot of offensive players. We've seen Keon Drake have great success now on the cliff. We've seen Tannehill take his team one win from the Super Bowl. We've seen Devontae Parker.
Le'Veon Bell last year.
And we've seen Devontae Parker finally breaks out after all these years. He's gonna break out. He finally does it without Gase there. So we've seen a lot of different players that finally emerge. And Sam Darnold has been struggling for a while. So it's like, but like he didn't have the O-line. The weapons, Crowder, Anua, I mean, they're not bad, but they shouldn't be number one guys. Your defense, outside of Jamal and Mosley, who Mosley missed all last year, I mean, Marcus May, you kind of
Avery Williamson, but Avery Williamson and C.J. Mosley both were hurt almost all last year.
You're talking about 2 guys in the Greg Williams defense in the middle. That would have been something special. And the Jets defense wasn't that bad last year. Marcus May, you paid Tremaine Johnson. That wasn't really a good sign that he didn't really plan out. And you got Quentin Williams, down there and then the block. But you have a lot of like pieces that you have to fix, and it's like you're not gonna do it. I mean, without the assets, and I think that's why it was good. And so far on paper, everything they've done since he actually had his whole season under his belt as GM, like paying all these guys on the O-line, drafting Mekhi Becton, getting Sam Darnold a weapon, like you see strides. And I understand Jamal Adams' thing, why he wanted to get paid, because through 3 years, 1-time All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler, one of the best in the league. But it's like it's not doing nothing for us to
Yeah.
winning.
I understand that, man. I think we got to talk about Seattle the most, though. I mean, the Jets still in the same situation. They haven't made the playoffs since 2010.
Right.
Not the greatest head coach. They're in a hole. I don't think they're bad enough to get a top 3-4 pick next year, especially if Sam Darnold can stay healthy for a full year. And he didn't really have any injuries. It was more sickness than anything at mono for what, 4 weeks?
He wild.
So I don't know. Le'Veon Bell, I think, really has to step up for them. He didn't have the offensive line, neither did Darnold, and I don't think that helped them out a whole lot. But Seattle, man, that secondary right now with Jamal Adams, you got Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, Shaquille Griffin, Shaquem Griffin, Bobby Wagner. Man, that whole defense, even if they don't bring back Clowney now, which a lot of people I've seen on Twitter saying, oh, they brought Jamal Adams in, they can't pay Clowney. I don't think that's the case. You still got Jamal Adams on a rookie deal all next season. So if you bring in a Clowney or even some other vets that are still out there for a year, you're going all in, win now in 2020, which is really what this move says to everybody. I think Russell Wilson is on his last leg. Everybody knows that, still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but they don't have much more time, and I think Pete Carroll knows that. And I think the value that Seattle got out of the trade, even though I don't necessarily think it was bad for the Jets, I think the value that Seattle got, especially right now in the situation their team's in, it is the best they could have done with what they had.
Yeah, I think Seattle is kind of Russ or bust, but they're kind of trying to patch up the defense where if Russ doesn't have a great game or the running game kind of goes down again, they can still, I think last year they won, all their games were doing like one score. So they were in some close-knit games. So you kind of needed to add something to your defense to take pressure off the offense. Or maybe you need to go out and get the retired, unretired AB. You might need to give Russ another weapon. I mean, Seattle, if you're going to go for it, go all in. Try to get Clowney on a cheaper deal. Try to see if you can get AB under wraps. If you're going to go all in, I mean, you're going to get 1 year because, like you said, Adams, he going to want his money. You're going to trade everything for him, so you got to pay him.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. You're not just going to trade for him and then not pay him after this year,
Too much
and I think even if they don't bring back Clowney, adding a guy like Jamal Adams with the weapons that they have in the secondary, yes, the defensive line needs some help. They lost Clowney, still haven't re-signed him, lost a couple other guys as depth guys, but adding a safety like that adds in pass rush without adding in pass rush. Jamal Adams had 6.5 sacks last season, which I believe was league high for safety. So, that Pete Carroll defense is going to be fun to watch. They're real cover 3 heavy, and you really couldn't have a better guy to ask for to cover the middle third of the field. They got their Kittle stopper now, and they're going to need as much help as they can. There's a lot of weapons in that NFC West this coming year. Hopkins added. That Shanahan offense is going to be insane. The McVay is still there. Jared Goff, maybe not it for the Rams, but McVay is still a threat as far as his offensive mind goes.
See, I don't know really how much Jamal, he's gonna be a great player no matter where he goes, but like leaving a Greg Williams defense where he's putting you in the right situation, versus like the Seattle defense, which is very, very simple. Greg Williams, he want to kill you. Like that's
aggressive.
Right. So now you got a Seattle defense who's like they just play sound and without thinking and just react. And I don't know if he will be used to blitz a lot now, which could take away from his greatness. If you want to say, he's not a guy who gets a lot of interceptions. He's not used as a ball hawk when he was in New York. So will they use him like that, or what would be different? Because like I think Marcus May, now before y'all kill me when I say this, I think Marcus May is a more complete safety than Jamal Adams. Like we're talking about.
I say you got to be careful with your words there.
Now listen. What I mean by I'm like we talking about. I'm trying to think of who you can compare him to, but somebody who can do everything. Maybe not at an elite level, but he's gonna be good. Like you can put him in pass coverage, you can blitz him, you can have him in the box, whatever. He's gonna be good. With Jamal Adams, he might not be as great in pass coverage, but he's gonna excel and be the best of the best and this and that, and he does it at an extremely high rate. So I think Marcus May will take a step. I think that's why they got McDougal. What's his name? McDougal, whatever his name is.
McDougall, I think he's a good addition too.
Yeah.
He's more of a
solid.
league average safety. I think, like you said, he reminds me a lot of Marcus May, and he's not going to do anything outstanding. He's not going to make
Right.
you a whole lot of big time plays, but he's not going to make a ton of mistakes either.
And I think that's why when you look at the Jets side, you be like, if Marcus May had the season under Greg Williams being Jamal Adams, how good would he be? Like, you know what I'm saying? And if the Jets if they get that right, it'd be like, oh, we got a steal in this trade. In the Seattle side, you like, okay, McDougal wasn't. I can't say his name right.
Bradley McDougal.
McDougal. Oh Lord, I want to say McDonald.
I thought it was
so bad.
McDougall too.
I want to
so.
say McDonald so bad, but McDougal, like you said, he don't make the plays that Jamal Adams would make. Those jumping over the line, take the ball out of Daniel Jones' hand. That was crazy. Like those plays are superstar guys, and that's what you're gonna bring to this defense, and you're gonna have him flying around with Bobby, and then adding Jordan Brooks. This team is super fast. And you know the corners are very long, and so you try to go long with them. They put the hand up. It's gonna be hard, but I think choosing Jamal over Clowney from a not the play but just the position, safety over pass rush. If they can't bring no pass rush in, do you think they might regret that situation when it comes down to it? Because if you can't get to the quarterback, I mean you're gonna have to use Jamal or Bobby in blitzing because. How you gonna get home and create pressure? Because I'm not scared of nobody on that front four right now.
I think it depends on how you look at it and if Pete Carroll's willing to change up how he does things defensively. Because I think Jamal Adams is a hell of a safety as far as run support and pass rush goes. I think he adds a lot there. And you got to think, too, the better your secondary is, longer QBs have to hold on to the ball. So I think a better secondary can equate to better pass rushing, even if you don't necessarily have the greatest pass rushers. Jamal Adams does that for you. Like I said, the depth that they have in the secondary, again, Jamal Adams, Quentin Dunbar, Shaquille Griffin, and then you still got a young Trey Flowers out there who didn't have the best second season, came into the NFL as a safety, and they switched him to a corner. Didn't play great last year, and I think he's bound, for some breakout moments this year. He had some good moments at corner last year. They got a ton of depth everywhere, but the defensive line is the worry. They were 22nd in rush yards per game last year as far as opponents go. So that defensive line, if they don't retool it in a way that they like with guys that fit their scheme, it might be rough up front for them, but they're not going to allow a whole lot of passing yards.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't see them regretting it because you got a more talented younger player. So, yeah, pass rush is valuable, but Clowney's motor runs hot and cold from time to time. At least with Jamal, you kind of know he's a younger, healthier player. He's going to give it all he's got from day one. And plus, he wants to win. He's going to be so excited just to be on a competitive team.
Yeah.
So like just that energy alone. And then you got to think about Pete Carroll's a smart guy. He has a smart staff. They're going to put this guy in position to make plays. They're not going to just let him stand back there and try to cover, this side of the field. Just cover this man. They're going to use him to his fullest extent. Everything he does great. Pass rushing, blitz, just blitzing. And they're going to put him in the right positions to make plays.
Yeah, I think this move, too, was really a Seattle, when they made this trade, was looking at San Francisco like, you guys ready? Let's go to battle. They got that Shanahan offense is great. A lot of movement, but one of their biggest weapons is George Kittle, who killed the Seahawks last year, all season long. Now you got the best tight end covering safety in the entire league to go one-on-one with one of their best weapons on offense. So, I don't know.
Now, I know. So, all right. So, do y'all think the needle moved a lot with Seattle, or like I know some people are like, oh, they done close the gap on 49ers because, as far as I had them winning 10 games now before
Exactly.
Jamal Adams, and it does help your defense out tremendously, of course, but it's like, are they going to be in those?
It's not a quarterback. It don't change like the.
Yeah.
It don't change anything. Like
is it
if
gonna
your
be-
defense was solid, he added him still 10 of them wins.
I mean, is it going to be one of those situations like where if you're in a lot of close games this year, you got the breaks, but then this year you don't? Because you got to think, most of those teams who are in those situations, the next year they fall off. Think of the Chargers, the Cowboys, and the Rams. Those are the main three last year who the year before were in these close games and pulled them all out. And now this time, now they're outside the playoffs. Now, I guess
Those teams' talent level compared to the Seahawks one, I think, is a little bit.
I'm about to say
It's pretty far in comparison, I think.
and I'm about to say they don't have Russ either.
The Chargers though, yeah, the Chargers, man, that's a talented team, and they regressed pretty bad.
That was bad. Yeah, that was really bad. And you know
I
that
think the 49ers are actually the team that's going to take a step back in that division. I think people have caught on to what they're trying to do as far as how he moves that running game around. That was the most lethal weapon. I think after people have seen the Super Bowl, every single eye in America watching that game, watching how Jimmy Garoppolo performed through the air, people are going to force him to run or to pass the ball. They're going to stack the box and make Jimmy Garoppolo beat you. And I think that's the key to beating San Francisco. I just don't think Jimmy G has got it, and Russell Wilson does.
now to say to that. Now, would it win 13 games? Or
Nah.
14, probably not.
No, I don't
14
think so. I
Probably
think
not.
12 is probably
10, 11,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, because you can't really project like Ravens winning 15 and 49ers getting how many wins they got. Well, I think 14. But it's like the only reason I say they probably won't regress as much as far as a team record wise. Yes, team is Jimmy G is gonna be his second year starting. Technically, as far as maybe a full season. 'Cause
Full season,
right? And then Kyle Shanahan did address the receiver position early, like first round, got Ayuk again, and he do got a lot of pieces, and you never know, like maybe Jerry McKinnon, he signed Jerry McKinnon to be that guy because he has a lot of like tools, like that's why Minnesota loved him, but like he paid for him, and we haven't had to see him, so maybe like those small little things like can keep him from not regress. I do understand what you're saying. And
I
it's
think Mostert leaving that team too is that's a big loss.
Breida.
Breida, that's
Breida.
right. Matt Breida. My bad.
I'm glad Breida got traded because I had him in Dynasty.
for fantasy.
I always got to come back to.
I love that's the first thing that you're worried about. I know as soon as you saw that trade too, Kev, that's the first thing you said to yourself, man.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, Rashad know the struggle I had, man, with running backs in the last
Yeah,
year.
running backs were dropping like flies, man.
Bad, good time, but yeah, I mean, this NFC West is absolutely loaded. It's crazy. Like, remember, Rashad, we had Eric Crocker on with the 49ers, and he was talking about how like everybody keep adding great talent. Like Clowney had came, then now you got Jamal Adams, D-Hop then came to the division. They drafted Kyler Murray, who's already looking like a top 10 quarterback in the league already, and it's like, man,
Shouldn't have won Offensive Rookie of the Year though. Should have belonged to Josh Jacobs. I'm just putting that out there.
it's always going to be the QB league.
I was a quarterback.
It's always going to be.
Then Jacobs started missing games too, so he kind of lost by default.
I get what you're saying. Like right now,
Like
my money already.
that's my guy too, man. I was campaigning for him too. When he started missing games, I was like, all right.
I'm gonna say I already got money on Joe Burrow, so you better go ahead and follow it and put it on Joe Burrow.
No, it's hard to bet on anybody else but him with what Cincinnati did to surround him
Right.
in the draft. They did a good job.
But this,
Hey, throw a little money on Clyde. Clyde might steal it, man. You see, Damien's
know.
sitting out.
I don't know. It's too many weapons and Chiefs for me to do it, but the NFC West is it's too loaded, and I heard somebody was like, they might just beat each other up, and winner gonna
Yeah, it's
have
the
10
only
wins,
place.
but they be
Yeah.
they one of the best teams in the league, but they got 10 wins, like, and that's very
I mean,
possible.
hell, y'all remember that Sunday night game between the 49ers and the Seahawks last year that went down to the absolute wire? That was one of the best games of the entire regular
both of
season.
them really did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was say
Yeah, that game was good. And then,
lost to
and
the
you know,
Cardinals twice.
yeah, and you got Kyler Murray in his second year now, and now he has DeAndre Hopkins. I mean,
And Christian Kirk was banged up a lot last year. And that's a very vital weapon.
And he got the
And
Larry
then-
Legend. That's just unfair. It really just unfair. And the crazy thing is, like, the Rams, we always forget them, and they've got Aaron Donald, who's the best defensive player in my opinion, and Ramsey, who can debate for the best corner. Like, they got studs too, but it's like, okay, they caught on the Sean McVay offense a little bit. The running game, he didn't have Todd Gurley, so what are they gonna do now? And it's like the Rams gonna be forgotten about. I think they're gonna be last in this division.
I was about to say that.
And I don't think that's a shot. I think they might still get 7-8 wins. Like, that's the crazy part.
Yeah, if the team that finishes last in the NFC West has 6 or 7 wins, I'm not going to be surprised at all. I mean,
It's just too
really.
tough.
Yeah, it's a hard division. And you add in, like you said, you add one of the best players in the league. Again, like, you already added D-Hop. You already added all these guys, and now you adding Jamal Adams. So Jamal Adams going to this Seattle scheme where it's the safety is usually like one of the best things they're looking for. You see the Falcons draft Keanu Neal early. The Chargers went and got Derwin James. And a lot of different teams trying to find their Cam Chancellor. Obviously, they don't grow on trees. Otherwise, everybody would have it. But, the Browns are doing it this year. The Jaguars, that's why they went to the championship year. They had Barry Church back there in the safety in his spot way back when. But you got the Colts are doing that scheme now, which is why you see Darius Leonard being, great, and that's why they got Buckner. Do y'all think Jamal Adams will still be the best safety in this scheme? Because Derwin James, his rookie year, he made All-Pro. So now you got two guys that have the exact same job, and it's really hard to find in the NFL when there's two guys that's different teams and they have the exact same job to do. And who do y'all think will have that better season? Even I know Jamal got to learn the system, but still,
I think simply because of how much talent is on that Seattle defense, I think you got to answer Derwin James, and that's not a shot at Jamal Adams. I mean, when the talent goes up on the roster, your stats go down, but wins go up. That's the giveaway that you get for going to a good team. Derwin James, man, Derwin James is going to be competing with him right there for the next 5, 10, however many years. He is talented, and that 49ers or that Chargers defense, it's not the same. He's got all the room in the world to do whatever he wants to do as freely as he wants, and I think you got to go with Derwin James. I wouldn't even be surprised if Jamal Adams didn't make an All-Pro team this year, or first team at least.
Yeah, with safety, it's tough because your stats are not going to really be there at all times. So it's kind of about what scheme you're in and what you do.
Yep.
And also, are you winning games? Because that always helps. Are you contributing to a winning team? So between Derwin, Minka, of course Jamal, even Honey Badger still like that's kind of gonna be like your safety all pros right there. And then you got whoever some other guys could step up and
don't forget about this Harry the Hitman down there now in Minnesota. Don't forget Harry.
So with safety, man, it changes every year because somebody always emerges or a team emerges. So I want to go out. I don't want to say Jamal's going to be a lock first team. I think he could definitely make one of the teams. Though he's just that good. I mean, it's hard to say one of the two best safeties in the game won't make an All-Pro team.
I meant more so first team, but no, you're definitely right. I just think Jamal. I wouldn't be surprised for him only to have a couple sacks this year unless they really don't add a whole lot of pass rush. They try and put him in the nickel, bring him off the edge a lot more this year. That nickel package that they're going to be able to offer this year too in Seattle, by the way, with Jamal Adams, Quentin Dunbar, and those boys, at big nickel is going to be fun to watch. So, but again, the stats are going to go down for sure for Jamal, but name value alone holds weight in those all-pro voting. And if the Seahawks win and Jamal's stats go down, people are going to recognize that.
It's true. I know Derwin James, like when Jamal came out the year before, but Derwin James was treated just like him. And when you win Rookie of the Year, make an All-Pro team in the rookie year, that's very impressive. And yes, the injuries kind of held him back last year. And I think obviously Pro Bowls sometimes hold weight. You got to look at the situation. But that AFC safety position was so loaded with Derwin coming back, and let's say Jamal was still in New York, Honey Badger, Kevin Byard. It's so many guys, Minka, that were there. And like now he goes to the NFC side where outside of Harrison Smith and I can't even think of another one. Maybe outside Harrison Smith, is really no NFC elite safety. I mean, am I missing somebody?
Hey, don't be sleeping on my boy Trey Boston, man.
Man, I'm asleep. Hey, Trey Boston. I like Trey Boston. He's solid. I'm trying to think.
Man, we got to still throw Earl Thomas out there, man. Like Earl Thomas had a
I forgot about Earl Thomas. Yeah. Earl Thomas on the way down. Yeah, get him out of here. But it's gonna be crazy because like I like to see guys like we always try to compare who's the best quarterback, who's the best receiver, who's the best running back, and like you said, it always gonna matter about what scheme you in. Like I know a lot of people was like, oh, who's better between Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu during their prime for prime, but they were used totally different. And I think that's why that's why me and Rashad always debate who's better, Julio or Antonio Brown, because they're used differently. But now you got two guys who are elite at their position doing the exact same thing. I'm like, man, I can't wait to see who makes the more impact because you can actually say it. Obviously you're gonna have different things like, okay, Jamal got Bobby Wagner, who's an elite linebacker, but Derwin got he got Bosa,
Ingram,
Ingram,
and the whole secondary loaded with Hayward and all
with
them
Hayward and
people
all
out
them boys instead of and Jamal don't have the pass rushes that Derwin James. So that's
Yep.
always going to be a difference. But as far as like okay, who's gonna make the rangy tackles? Who's going to be the one in the box? Who's going to be who can make the best pass coverage? I think that's going to be great to see down the line and be like, man, you can actually compare these guys like career for career. As long as they both there and under the same scheme for the rest of their career.
I think Derwin, though, I think he's going to be stuck in a lot more pass coverage. And again, the offseason's not over. There's still plenty of players out there left to sign, still big name guys. Obviously, Jadeveon Clowney's still out there, and plenty more that I'm just
Logan
not
Ryan was
off
in
the
the
top.
top 100, and he a free agent. I was like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes with some of these players, and I think it. I mean, kind of side note, but a lot of those reasons, some of those guys aren't signed yet. I think it comes down to the same. Like Cam Newton's situation, all this COVID stuff going on, not being able to go get physicals, the travel restrictions, the whole 9 yards. This offseason, I think, would have been a lot different. I mean, hell, everything would be different if none of this happened.
Right.
But Derwin James is going to be stuck in a lot more pass coverage, I think, than Jamal Adams is. I think Jamal Adams is going to be further up in the box this year just because of the issues they have on the defensive line. But you're right. Playing in that same scheme, being able to compare those guys because they played on the exact same kind of defense, it's fun to do because it hasn't always been like that in the past in the NFL. So many guys, even with the same kind of skill set, are used in completely different ways by all kinds of different coaches.
Right, exactly. And that's why I even think like, man, maybe Jamal won't do all the blitzing he does because Greg Williams ain't his coach no more as far as that's concerned.
Yep.
So, I hope they did their homework because Seattle looking like they're going to be – it'll be hard to beat on both sides because you got to worry about Dangerous going crazy and their physical specimen and DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. And then on the other side, I don't know if you play Madden like that, but Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams make you fumble every time you hit them. They hit you.
Dude, I'm glad you said that. I was going to bring that up. I was playing a Madden franchise just the other day, bro. As the Panthers, playing the Seahawks with updated rosters. You ain't lying, man. Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner. I fumbled with Christian McCaffrey like 5 fucking times. I swear on everything. It was ridiculous.
Rashad, when I tell you, like, every time, like, you get hit or juke into them, hang it up.
It's over. So you got to fall down. You have to fall down to avoid getting hit by those boys.
Man, they keep it realistic. Top 2 safety and top linebacker. So you gotta keep it realistic.
Hey, he's only the top linebacker now because Luke Kuechly is no longer in the league. Just putting that out there. But say what you want.
Top 2 and not 2 for both of them.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to some basketball talk. We got 30 minutes left. So, all right, I know it's going to be a big game tonight. I'm going to be tuned in. I'm mad because I really got some other stuff I need to be doing, but I got to tune in from start to finish with the Battle of LA coming because we talking
battle over Orlando.
yeah, down in the bubble. But so all right, so one, who do y'all think wins tonight? I believe everybody of importance is playing. Except Blue Will, he said he still got a quarantine. He's gonna miss the first 2 games. So, who do you?
I don't think Harold's back either. Is Montrezl Harrell back?
I want.
Not sure. I think I might have saw he's gonna. I don't know. Actually, that's a good question.
Like I think Lou Harold and I think Beverly's probably gonna be a scratch too. I don't think Beverly came back from. He took a little break too. I don't think his quarantine's done.
Yeah, trying to see if I can find it out. Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, Patrick Beverly's questionable, and Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams both out.
Yeah. And then Kuzma is questionable, but he's probably gonna play. And you got
he's gonna play, but he's not gonna do anything.
Hey, he showed out last week. But my boy Anthony Abdul Jadavis with the goggles now. He about to get into his Kareem bag tonight.
Wait, Anthony Davis is wearing goggles tonight?
Yes, because he got poked in the eye. Yeah.
What he's gonna make a sky hook and it's gonna be the best meme on Twitter of the night. I promise.
All he gotta do is tip it one time and make it. And
just one time, just that photo of him doing the sky hook.
That's it. That's all he need. And he rocking the afro, so that's why you're gonna be even funnier. But I'm a roll with the Lakers on tonight just because the Clippers swear that their 6th and 7th man are not playing even though they are starters. So they're missing 2 starters in my opinion in this game. Kawhi and Paul George are probably enough to get you the job done, but when you're playing a Laker team who got a lot of guys now, I wonder how they're going to play when J.R. Smith, Deion Waiters, Caruso and Danny Green. All those guards now actually mean something. What's going to change? Obviously, as long as you got LeBron Davis there, that's all that really matters. But tonight, I'm gonna go with the Lakers. That's just simply because too big. Harrell's their energy guy from the front court, and Zubac is solid. But I don't know how much he can really do it against these guys down here.
Yeah, I think Lakers tonight for sure. Now, once the actual playoffs roll around, it's obviously going to be a different story. But with Harrell out and Lou Williams tonight, that's the Clippers' biggest advantage is their depth, and a lot of reason that people are picking them over the Lakers in the conference finals because of how much depth they have off that bench. And there goes your two biggest depth guys for the first game against the top seeded Lakers. So Lakers tonight, to see LeBron locked in the way he was in a scrimmage game with no fans, blew my mind. Looked like he was ready to score 40 in a game 7 in the first quarter of a scrimmage. Right. It was great to see. So I can't imagine what he's going to do tonight. LeBron passing the way he is right now, dude, it's Magic-esque the way he's playing for real. At 35, it's insane. I do feel bad for LeBron, though. Just being put in the situation with the season getting canceled as the number 1 seed. You finally got Anthony Davis. You had to wait one long season. You didn't make the playoffs for the first time in God knows how long, since what, 07? Some shit like that?
Probably since
09?
Ricky season, probably for LeBron.
No, it was his second year. Like from his third year on, he made the playoffs.
Yeah, so he waited that long year. They made the Anthony Davis trade happen, and then you get COVID happening. It just seems like LeBron can't catch a break. A lot of people are talking about him not even coming to the bubble, but he's here. He's locked in, and I know he wants it more than just about anybody right now. So Lakers by 20. I'm saying it right now.
Damn, I should have put a bet on that one, man. You feel kind of strong about that one.
I don't know about 20, but I'll make it to clean sweep.
That might have been a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I think Lakers will win the game. Just for all the reasons you guys said. You got Lou Will, who's a 20-point scorer. He's out. Harrell's the energy guy. That's another 15, 16 points. You're missing. You're pissed, Mr. Patrick Beverly. He can't get up on anybody's skin with some crazy fouls or a little trash talk. So, first game back, I think the first half, the energy will be pretty crazy amongst the players. We'll probably hear a little bit of trash talk, but the Lakers should win. LeBron's on a mission. He's going to start off this game pretty hot. I mean, the only way I'll hedge my bet is if somebody like Morris comes in for the Clippers. Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the only way I'll hedge my bet if he comes in and puts up, 20, 22 points and, kind of provides that extra spark. So unless something like that happens, I think the Lakers will probably win 117, 108, 109. I think it'll be like an 8 or 9 point win for them. They should win pretty comfortable.
I think the Lakers are going to pull away in the fourth quarter, really. I think it's going to be close down to them, but I think that's when the depth is going to come back into play. Kawhi and Paul George are probably going to have to play more minutes tonight, which is not Kawhi's favorite thing to do, obviously. But we got to talk about the Lakers, how they got the meme team together now. You got JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, Deion Waiters, and J.R. Smith all on the same team. I can't wait.
I done seen clips of the scrimmage, man, J.R. Smith doing crazy, then shoot
He's being
inside the
J.R. Smith.
backboard. I was like, man, I cannot see
being J.R. Smith. Deion Waiters really hasn't played that bad so far, though. Through the scrimmages, he's been pretty good off the bench for them.
I'm about to say, as a Laker fan, I was kind of hurt that Rondo went down, and it's not even because he, I know a lot of people don't like him because he tried to shoot threes now and all this other stuff, but we talking about somebody, a veteran in this game who a champion, know what to do. And yes, J.R. Smith, but we've seen the moments, when he's in the finals, what he has done. Game 1 of the finals, 2 or 3 years ago. So
it was George Hill's fault. I ain't blaming J.R. for that.
Yeah, George.
Nobody's ever going to remember J.R. Smith for anything else other than drinking, hitting, and not shooting the ball in the last couple seconds of Game 1 of the finals.
Right, exactly. But I knew like a Rondo, Dwight Howard, Davis, like LeBron lineup. It's just so much IQ on the court at all times, and I was like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say, "Oh, Lakers don't have the dogs the Clippers got," or they're not as hungry as a Boston team or one of the young guns, Miami team. But people really, really undervalue like IQ and intelligence on the court, and for some guys who not the most athletic or not the most can shoot all the threes, they use that to their advantage and they become one of the greatest, to play. So that's why Dwight Howard can stay so long, even though people want to kill him all the time for his things, and Rondo as well.
Future Hall of Famer, man.
Yeah, and a
first
lot of
ballot.
people have been writing the Lakers off early, like I said earlier, especially in the conference finals against the Clippers. But the Clippers' biggest weapon is their versatility and their coach, to be quite honest. Doc Rivers, you couldn't ask for you could ask for a better coach, but that's one of the best guys you could have coaching the guys that he has right now. And they do have a lot of versatility, but I say the Lakers, maybe their depth isn't as good, but I think they have just as much versatility because of the high IQ guys they have on the floor almost at all times. If LeBron and AD are both off, which doesn't happen a whole lot when they're playing competitive basketball, you got Rondo, who, like Rashad said, should very well be a Hall of Fame point guard. At all times, Dwight Howard's been to an NBA Finals. He's been there. He's done it. They have a lot of veteran. Exactly. When you have LeBron on the floor, the amount of possibilities are absolutely endless. You can have guys that have never scored an NBA point, and LeBron's going to make them better players.
Yeah.
I've never seen him pass like this in my life. I've always known he's had it, but he's showing it now how much he knows the game, and I think that's what's going to carry them through this entire postseason.
Yeah, I'm more of a Clippers guy. Kawhi's my favorite player. I think Paul George has become undervalued at times. Now I'm still waiting on this playoff P dude to show up.
Playoff P is a myth. That is a
Playoff
myth.
P has been gone since Indiana, man.
Yeah, like I'm still waiting on that guy to show up, but I think Paul George has become underrated over time. So they're my preseason pick. I'm still gonna roll with the Clippers to win the title because I want to see Kawhi get his third team, make history. Of course, LeBron's going for the same thing, but I want to see the Clippers win the title, first one for them. So. But I wouldn't mind seeing the Lakers win the title just because I think LeBron's legacy doesn't need it, but people just don't like LeBron for some reason. Like, the dude's been the model citizen.
Yeah,
I
don't get it, man.
He can run for president right now. I vote for him. I don't care. I don't care. No political background, nothing. I'll write King James on my ballot. I don't care. Just make sure you count for him. But, man, dude's become so he's so great, but then you have people like, oh, he's not my top 10 players of all time. Like, it's freaking LeBron James. This dude can do everything, man. Like, he's carrying the weight of LA. He's carrying the Kobe
people
legacy.
just don't like to appreciate greatness nowadays.
Like, he's carrying so many things like on his back. He's been carrying the lead for like 15 years, man. So
yes,
I wouldn't mind seeing LeBron get one more to kind of shut up all the critics. Like, there's nothing you really can say about it if he won this year. And plus, when you got JR, Dion Waiters, Dwight, and JaVale, the championship parade gonna be epic, man. Come on, man.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my god!
You're talking about the parade where everybody watching at home. Yeah, so they watching at home.
See, but that'd be even better though. JR, JaVale, Dion, all those guys would be acting the same way with no people in the streets as they would with all the people in the streets, and that's gonna be the best part about it. That's gonna be the best thing.
Yeah. They win the title. Cali opened up for them. It's the Lakers. We lost Kobe this year. It's LeBron. You got all these dudes, man. If they won a title,
you got Lakers fans that hate LeBron just because he's LeBron. You know what I'm talking about, Kev. I saw you roll your eyes, man. It's true.
It's crazy that the people like yes, I may be a Kobe guy, but why would I think LeBron? Why would I hate him? Like this guy
walked great.
this guy walked into the league and has exceeded everybody's expectations. Like they say, he was the chosen one, and he's been chosen. He's done everything you asked for. I mean,
for a kid his age, like he did, to come out of high school into the NBA with as much hype as he had, to do what he's done, is unheard of. I can't imagine. I'm only 20 years old. At 17, I can't imagine having that much attention on me at all times. This shit would have crippled me. But he like basked in the greatness. Like, okay, you guys say this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do you one better. And that's always been his mindset, and he's always done it. He's always proved himself to people, and I'm right there with you, Rashad. To see him get another chip, not only does it shut people up, but I think if LeBron gets another chip, here's Jordan, LeBron's right here. He's right here.
They're on the same playing field to me. Like I don't do the whole ring counting thing. I don't care about ring.
I don't like to do it either.
Yeah. I don't care about the MVP count because Kobe Bryant should have at least 3. But, of course, situation playing with Shaq.
Both of Steve Nash's MVPs should belong to Kobe Bryant.
And then his personal stuff off the court, that played a part in it. I mean, Shaq should have more than one MVP. Jordan could have 8 or 9. LeBron could have 10, 11. LeBron could be MVP every year
if you
voter
win.
fatigue,
third
voter
year
fatigue
on.
alone
So-
just ruins a whole lot of weight that the MVP award carries. Because once a guy wins it 3 or 4 times, it's gonna be like, oh, we're just gonna write in this guy again. We want to see this happen again. Let's do
Exactly.
something else. Let's change it up a little bit.
Yeah, so like all those MVP counts, like James Harden have 3 MVPs. Giannis could have 2 or 3. Like outside of, what you do on the court, your value, I care about that. I don't
Yeah.
care if LeBron only gets 3 titles or only had 2 titles. His skill set alone makes him the best basketball player ever. So 3, 4 titles, he's still right there with Jordan. They won 2, 1A, 1B. I don't care how you put it.
Now,
Yeah,
let me tell y'all this real quick. So the 2 guys in the NBA right now has the opportunity to do what I'm about to say. LeBron's one of them, and Kawhi, both LA, had the chance to
3 MVPs.
win 3 championships in 3 different locations. Now, Kawhi, yes, you could say he wasn't the best player on the Spurs, but who really was on that team that they won? Because Tim Duncan on the way down, Parker and Ginobili on the way down. Kawhi won Finals MVP that series. So, but
He was the best player on that team in the finals that year.
okay, yeah, especially in the finals, yeah,
fine.
right, okay, that's fine.
The last three games for sure. He dominated the last 3 games.
So you got 2 guys who have a chance to win 3 championships in 3 different locations as the best player. Now, I think that holds a lot of weight. I'm not saying it holds more weight than winning 6 in out of 8 years for Jordan, but it's up there as far as like I can do it here or here. Can you go somewhere and you can dominate with different guys? I mean, obviously, you got the JR 2 different spots or whatever, but that's with veteran players. But as far as star players, I've won with Chris Bosh and Wade. I've won with Kyrie and Love. Now I'm about to win with Davis. Or if you're Kawhi, I won with the aging Tim Duncan. I won with a Raptor team who never been to the finals, and I won with the Clippers who never been to the finals. And I think
Yeah.
those right there, they on the pedestal.
Hey,
I was
quick,
go-
if
I was going-
Go ahead.
Go
bro.
ahead, Rashad.
Oh, if LeBron does it, it'll hold way more weight though, because you win in LA and you gave Cleveland a title. Hey, I love Kawhi and Canada got it and Clippers, but LeBron's gonna hold way more weight if you get LA and Cleveland. This is for you.
That Cleveland championship counts for like 3. I don't care what anybody says. That Cleveland chip alone for the teams he had to play against Golden State, and I don't like getting into the Jordan LeBron argument. Hell, I don't really like comparing a lot of greats unless it's just for for fun's sake or we're just talking. But when it comes down to arguing, saying this player is
Right,
better
yeah.
than this one, you're not gonna change my mind. I don't like doing that because I like to appreciate greatness. I love watching basketball for greatness. I'm not gonna sit here except for James Harden. I hate James Harden.
Oh,
Um,
bro.
I hate James Harden.
Come on, bro. I got the Rockets on right now, man. Come on, man.
He's the only one.
Don't do my boy Beard like that, man. My man could have been MVP.
That wasn't
at
on
least
purpose.
3 out
That
of the
wasn't
last
on
5
purpose, I
years.
promise.
Come on, man. Don't do my guy like that, man. Top 5 offensive scorer ever.
Ever.
Top 5.
That's-
KD, Kobe, MJ, Iceman, and James Harden. That's the top 5.
That ISO ball just makes me want to scream, dude. I hate watching the Rockets play. I hate watching that ISO ball. Watching that Rockets team with him and Chris Paul was like torture to me. The NBA ever
Dribble,
floats
dribble,
that
dribble,
way,
dribble, shoot.
nah. He's never gonna win a championship with D'Antoni. I'm just gonna put that out there. But besides the Rockets, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, Rashad. I was gonna ask y'all this, like we were talking about. If Kawhi wins this 3rd chip, where does he stand for you guys all time? Because I was gonna bring up everything that you guys just did. I don't know, that chip will hold a lot of weight. Again, like you said, if he wins the Finals MVP, going around to 3 different places, and he's won back-to-back titles in 2 different cities. If he wins this year, whew.
Hot take. I already have Kawhi top 15, title or not.
I respect that though. Kawhi's gonna finish top 10 if you ask me.
Because it's to me, as small 4, it's LeBron, KD, Bird, and then Kawhi right there.
I'd probably see. Bird's a hard place for me. I love Larry Bird, but the era is, and that's another thing about comparing players. Eras, man, eras are way different. The basketball that these guys play nowadays is nothing compared to what was going on in the 50s and 60s. Completely different style. Larry Bird was a different animal. KD is like 15 for me. Screw KD.
Hey, I already have KD at 10, man.
Nah, real talk. KD is he's right there behind LeBron. He's just a snake. But we ain't gonna fault him for that. He went to Brooklyn. It's okay. He's got a chance to redeem himself with Kyrie. But for real, Kawhi, what you think, Kev? You think he's gonna be top 10 if he wins?
So to me, it's gonna be hard to replace anybody in the top 10. Because when you say that, you like, all right, who I'm gonna take out? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care what it is. I ain't taking Hakeem Olajuwon out of my top 10. I ain't taking Kobe out.
I respect the hell out of you for that too. By the way,
Tim Duncan, Shaq, Jordan. It's cold. It's
Nobody-
so
they
hard
not
to
coming
take
in the top
Bird.
10.
It's so hard. I was like the only one I can replace him with. Like I know Rashad said he got KD in his 10 already. It's like I'm gonna have to take out Wilt because I can't take the rest
I
of
was
them
gonna
out.
say Wilt. I was literally about to say that. I was thinking in the back of my head, like if I
already
say
got Wilt
Wilt,
out.
am I about to get shitted on?
I'm about to say
Bro.
that's the only logic because you can say, well, he played in an era that's it wasn't that many good players.
Same era as
that's
Bill Russell.
same
and
era as
I
Bill
don't want to get
Russell.
started on that. I don't want to get started.
I'd
on
take
that.
Bill Russell out. I think Bill Russell's top 10.
Bill
I'd
Russell
probably take
been
Bill
out.
Russell out.
Bill Russell been
Bro,
out.
I
We
got
had-
Bill.
we had
barely
Bill.
top 50.
Hey, don't even get us started with Bill, bro. Like we almost had like everybody see I got the number one rule shirt. We almost made one that said Bill Russell equals Clint Capella.
Bro, drop Bill Russell in this era. Tell me he not Rudy Gobert, Clint Capella, Samuel Dallenberg, somebody like that. Because he was just big. Man, look. All right, let me go and put the caveat. Man, shout out to Bill for all the social justice reform, being the first black and a lot of stuff. Shout out Bill for all of that. But we talking about basketball, man. Bro, you 6'9", 6'10", barely shooting 40% from the field. I'm not rolling with that. You right there by the rim. How do you get 20-something rebounds, can't even average 20 points?
Just put backs alone. You don't need 10.
You right there by the rim, bro. You bigger than everybody.
I'm about
Like,
to say,
come on now.
hey,
I'm listen, man. I'm glad y'all said Hakeem though, because a lot of people like to disrespect Hakeem Olajuwon, man. I've most complete center I've ever seen, ever,
yes, most
ever.
skilled, most complete, and it just a lot of people discredit him because he was in during that Jordan when Jordan was gone. He won. Well, okay, whatever. Like it's the Rockets.
Somebody had to win.
He never had a star until Clyde, a star next to him until Clyde the second time. He had no more good like role players, but either way, it's like
That's like faulting LeBron for losing to Golden State those years that he did. Man, you can't do that
can't
to the
do
man
The
Hakeem.
second best player was Kevin Love and Mozgov. What you want?
What you want me to do? Yeah, exactly. But for Kawhi's thing is like, so me and Rashad already had this like debate about it, and so I'm ranking. I think when it all said and done, I think especially now with the injuries, that Kawhi will be above Kevin Durant. And when Kevin Durant before he got injured and before Kawhi got injured with the foot thing and all the whole load management stuff started happening, Kawhi was already emerging on the same level, like as far as like I'm making a first team over you, and I'm making this team over Kevin Durant, and I was like Kawhi's on the way to pass him, and all it takes is for him to win. And when he went to Toronto and they won, I was like, oh man, Kevin Durant got hurt because now it's like if I say it now, it's like well Kevin Durant would have easily they would have won, and Kawhi probably wouldn't have had no championship, and KD would have been above. He got 4 rings to Kawhi's 1. Blah blah. So
Yeah.
I think that all that reason why is like I want to say Kawhi above KD, but I'm gonna roll with almost Rashad's ranking. I'm gonna go LeBron. If he wins, LeBron. I got Bird still second, KD, and I got Kawhi, and then Dr. J to finish out the top 5. But so I mean it's really preference. I love Kawhi. I think me and Rashad we went to a game to go see Kawhi, and he
Load
played.
management.
Load management. Get out of here, bro.
I
was
will
mad.
never go to a game just to watch
I was
Kawhi because
mad.
that's just gonna happen.
That
And
was-
LeBron put it the best way, man. LeBron put it the best way about load management. These fans, and yes, there's no fans right now. I get it. LeBron put it the best way. These fans pay their hard-earned money to come and see me when they come to this stadium. I'm gonna do everything in my power to go out there and play for them because they deserve that. I am paid to do this job. It is my job to go out on this court and put on a show for these fans, and I'm going to do it as often as I can if I have the ability to walk out there and do so. I don't agree with the load management. I could go on about that shit for days. If you're making as much money as they do with the training staff and everything that they have at their disposal, unless you are hurt, why the hell are you not playing?
I would say
Yeah, that's my only knock against Kawhi
if
too. Man,
if you
just
was
sitting
gonna
out.
if you was gonna load manage, I think he should load manage at home. Not
Cause they'll see you again. But
when
even then, bro, like that's still tough though. Cause what
That's
if it's
true,
just
but-
that one day that person only had to come to that game?
well, I would say
you know, just stuff like that.
I would say this: if you
Now,
if you live in LA, Kawhi's there at 41 games, and you couldn't see him that one game. Well, you have multiple opportunities, in my opinion. But when he's coming, like when he was in Toronto, we went to the Hawks versus the Raptors game, and they played the Magic the night before, and we going there. All right, we gonna see Kawhi. Where he at? Like we didn't get no update about him sitting out. He didn't even make the trip. I think he went back to Toronto because it was Thanksgiving. I think Rashad right around that time. So
Yeah,
I
it's
think
November.
he went back home. So it's like you're not gonna play Atlanta that often. Maybe twice. And it's like you're gonna play one of them gonna be on a Wednesday, like where we went, while the other one could be on a Monday at 3. I don't know. Who knows the NBA schedule? It's crazy. So I think the load management part, you have to be like a little smarter when you do it. I understand.
Now if it's on the second half of a back-to-back, every now and then, so you've had a tough week, you've played the Bucks, the Lakers, Clippers, and then you got the Clippers, and usually it's the Clippers and Lakers on a back-to-back because it's LA, but
Yeah.
Hornets did that like the first week of the season, and it was hell to watch.
Back-to-back.
Yes, and they did the whole LA road trip in like the second week of the season. Lakers, Clippers, Kings, Warriors, all of them within the first couple weeks of the season. It was hell. But regardless, if you're sitting out on the second half of back-to-back because you just played 40 minutes the night before, fine. You're coming off an injury, whatever. There's circumstances that I completely understand. But if you're sitting out because I'm tired, I got to rest up because we're playing the Bucks 2 nights from now, I'm not messing with all that,
And that's why I respect guys like Jordan. If he wasn't hurt 82 games all the time, Allen Iverson, he gonna come out there and play all 80-something games. James Harden all 80-something games.
And I think that that mentality says something about Kawhi. And I'm not going to say that Kawhi is not a killer because obviously we've seen that he can be. But that mindset, and I like to compare Jordan's mindset to that of like a Russell Westbrook. Obviously hasn't won anything, but Westbrook is ready to go out there every single night and kill you, run at you, and murder you every night. By the way, Rashad, I know I don't like James Harden, but Rocket's one of my sleepers in the West because of how well Russell Westbrook was playing before the break. I'll give you that.
Hey, I'm with you. They get the right matchup. They could get to the West Finals.
But it's I could talk all day about load management. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's making my head burst.
I got you. Hey, but before we get out of here, I want to ask you something real quick about so you're a Hornets fan. So the move with Kemba Walker, just as far as in Boston, one, did you understand it? And 2, are you going to root for him in the East to maybe win a championship?
This is a complicated answer. Kemba, man, I was so like emotionally attached to Kemba Walker. It's a small market team. We don't get guys like that around a whole lot, especially in Charlotte, Lord knows. And I'm not sure if you guys remember, I think it was 2 seasons ago. It was Kemba's last season in Charlotte. They played the Sixers on a Saturday night. I think it was a classic night. They had the classic court, the white jerseys. It was beautiful. Played the Sixers, went into double overtime. Kemba scored 60 and Jimmy Butler hit a game winner. I was miserable, but Kemba, it really, really hurt to see him go. And the hardest part about it really was that he loved the city of Charlotte. He absolutely loved it. He wanted to stay, and the front office just kind of did him dirty. And not even as in terms of, okay, we just don't want to pay you. That's fine. Kemba's an older guy. The money that he wanted for how long it was financially in terms of his health, I get why they didn't want to, but you got to do it a little bit better than that. He said, I'm even willing to take a pay cut from the Supermax to play. And they offered him like $60 million less than the Supermax. That's more than just a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I will be pulling for him personally, but the Celtics can lose in the first round for all I care.
I love it. Hey, everybody, your spiel where they can catch you at before we get out of here.
All right, Owen Watterson. First off, guys, appreciate you letting me on. But at Owen_Watterson on Twitter, at Dose of OJ Pod is our podcast page. You can hit me anytime at Dose of OJ.